Yo, YouTube family, what's going on? All right, so in today's lesson, I want to teach you guys about toughening up. That's right, getting tougher. Nice and tough and strong. Yes. All right, so the quote for today in this video is, the basic problem that most people have is that they're not doing nothing to solve their basic problem. And this again is in Dr. Stephen Price's book here. Highly recommend it. Now, this is piggybacking off a video that I saw from Tai Lopez. He is a phenomenal guy. He's one of those guys where in his 20s, he became a self-made multimillionaire, being a great author, entrepreneur, etc., etc. So the whole gist of it, toughening it up. Let me start off with, as always, with a story. Now, a couple years back when I was getting out of middle school and I was starting up high school, I was in Detroit and my parents are like, oh, hell no, you are not going to Detroit schools as you're growing up as a teenager. You're either going to go into drugs, you're going to get into being a male prostitute. Well, that's in my dreams. But anyways, you're going to get into just crime and all this crazy stuff. And really, I just didn't want to. I was like, no, I want to go where my friends are going. But they were like, no. You're going to a better school. So they ended up sending me to Dearborn High School, where it was about 10 miles from my house. And honestly, I knew nobody. Like, nobody. I had to start from scratch. And then here's the thing, too, is that when I finished school, my parents would still be working. And so I had to either A, walk about a quarter mile to get to the nearest bus stop, and then afterwards take the public bus 8 miles, and then afterwards walk another 2 miles to get home, or B, ride my bike. So I literally had to mix it up and do both of those. One occasion, I was dumb enough to actually run all the way home. Yeah, I think I just slept the entire night after that. So that was an interesting experience to say the least. But the whole gist of that story is just to tell you that, you know, my parents put me in that situation where they were like, all right, you're going to a better school and your ass has to get home somehow because we are going to be at work. So what did I have to do? I had to toughen up. I had to man up. I had to be like, oh, either I'm going to be sleeping at school or I'm going to have to somehow walk, bike, whatever to get home. And mind you, this was if it was raining, if it was snowing, if it was sunshine out, it doesn't matter. I had to get home somehow. So that was me growing up as a teenager. And basically anything you want to get out of life, you got to toughen up. You got to be a man. You got to have some, what do they call those? Balls. You know those two things that are hanging in between your legs that, you know, they're for reproducing, but also to get out and do something. And it's so true. In Tai Lopez's video, he actually mentions how he spent a couple months in New Zealand and he was working with the sheep herders. Now, the crazy thing is that like what they get up at like 4 a.m, and then after they had to literally, I don't know why they did this, but this was their job. They had to pick up these like 100-pound sheep and carry them for X amount of distance, then go back and carry them again. And so I think he ended up doing like about whatever distance it was, 7 times within 50 minutes. You would take a few minutes break and then do it all over again. Lunchtime, take your little break, and then after just keep going until like 5 in the afternoon. And then the guys would go out partying, sleep for like 2-3 hours, and then do it all over again. And whenever he would complain and be like, oh, this is so hard, this is so tough, this is so challenging, they would just tell him, toughen up, be a man, don't be a pussy. So what's the whole point of all this big macho talk? The whole point is you got to literally, well, to say it again, toughen up. You have to bunker yourself down to be able to go out and fight for what you want. Because let's face it, life is not going to give you what you want. If anything, it's going to try to take anything and everything it can from you. So in other words, the only person who's going to be fighting for what you want, for what you believe in, for what you care for is, that's right, you. So with that in mind, you got to be a tougher person, mentally, physically. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely love working out, because yes, it makes me physically tougher, which translates to me being mentally tougher. Because here's the thing, in all honesty, great example, the wolf and the sheep. A sheep, soft, life is good, food is always given to them, and as a result, they're fat, they're lazy, and hey, that sounds like I'm talking about an American. Ha! Now, with that in mind, so here's a great example. You have cars where you drive everywhere. You have food readily available. Now, wolf, on the other hand, they actually have to go out and scavenge for their food. And I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in this book where, actually, let me see if I can find it real quick. That'll take me too long. But it talks about a story of a wolf and a dog, and the dog's like, oh, you're always out here hungry and starving? Hey, let me take you to my master and you can work. And the wolf's like, okay. But then he notices there's like a burn mark around his neck and asks, hey, what is that? Oh, the dog says, this is just from a leash or collar that's put on my neck every night, but it's okay, you'll get used to it. And at that point, the wolf said, ha, I'll see you later. So the moral of the story was, he would rather be free and be hungry than be a slave and be well fed. Wow, that was like mind-blowing when I read that, where essentially we're living a lot of luxuries. And it's not to say forego all the luxuries you have. No, by all means, enjoy what you have. Enjoy the cell phones, enjoy the technology, enjoy the cars, enjoy the beautiful houses, vacations. But at the same time, you also have to realize that, hey, maybe you don't need all this fluff in order to get what you want. Because truly, do you have everything you want? Do you? Are you able to go on a trip anywhere in the world right now? Get off of this video, go and buy a ticket to Rome and leave tomorrow. You can't. You have work, you have school, whatever obligations it may be. So in other words, to create that life you want, whatever it may be, you want the body of your dreams, you want to live across the world, you want to bang as many beautiful women as you can, you want to be able to climb the peaks of mountains, you want to be able to run across the deserts of the savannah, you want to be able to bring all of your family together and have a great meal. If your family's spread out across the world, in order to do all that, in order to get all that, you have to toughen up. So, what is the homework for today? Really simple. Just try to forego a couple of things that are comfortable for you, and kind of sounds like a girl there, for you, and make yourself a little bit tougher. Make yourself a little bit more of a badass. So, here's a couple examples. If you're used to driving to the supermarket that's like a quarter mile away, walk to get your groceries and then come back. If you are used to an office job, hey, maybe go and do some kind of like home improvement, gardening job over the weekend that's going to cause you to sweat a little bit and get off your fat ass. You know, something like that. Something that challenges you. You're not great with women. Okay, cool. Go and talk to some girls. They're not going to bite you. Well, if they do, that's a good thing. That might even make your day. Oh! So, toughen up. Be a man or be a woman. Whatever it may be. Fight for what you want. Remember, you gotta fight for what you want. All right. Until next time, champions. Ho!